Cigarettes, on the other hand, they cost money. Now they cost a lot of money. They have a negative impact on your health. They make you smell bad, and they kill you. You know, when used as directed, they cause death. That should be a really hard product to move, but somehow they're doing a much better job than we are. I think we need to look at how cigarette companies are moving their product compared to how we're not moving ours. Has anybody ever seen a representative from a cigarette company standing on a street corner handing out like photocopied leaflets of 20 reasons why you should smoke? By show of hands? No? Okay. They're not making the logical argument. They know that that's not what's going to have an effect. And there is no logical argument. There's no logical reason to smoke. You know, we could put the PR person from every cigarette company in the world in this room, ask them for one good logical reason to smoke, and you're going to get a lot of blank stares. But they don't work that way. They don't try and make the logical argument. You look at cigarette advertising, it's not telling you why it's a good idea to smoke. You know, they have some guy, you know, he's got nice hair and nice clothes, big grin on his face with, you know, some girl in a bikini and, you know, his friends behind him having the time of their lives. It's got nothing to do with logic. They're selling you an emotion, okay? That's how advertising works. It has nothing to do with the product. It's an emotion. And logically, when you think about it, okay, if I go and smoke cigarettes, I'm not going to have, you know, the time of my life because of it. But somewhere deep inside that, like, reptile brain from, you know, 4 million years ago, it's nestled in there somewhere, that has an effect. And we make that connection that, yeah, cigarettes, if I, you know, it's not conscious at all, but it happens. You know, if I smoke, I'm going to have a time like that guy. It doesn't work on the logical level because that's not how consumers think. So we need to start looking at veganism as a product, and we need to start selling it like a product. We need to look at what BMW does to sell cars, what Newport does to sell cigarettes, what Nike does to sell shoes, and start selling veganism, not making a logical argument, because people don't think logically. And it might sound kind of odd saying, well, you know, I can sell veganism. It's not a product. You can't, you know, put it on a shelf. Like I said, advertising has nothing to do with products. When you buy, well, probably not you, but when a person buys a BMW, they're not buying, you know, like 4 tires, a steering wheel, some seats, you know, body paneling, and an engine. It's got nothing to do with that. When you buy a BMW, you're buying status. You're buying a notion. You're buying an idea. You're buying the thought that I've arrived, I've made it, success, status. That's what you're buying. You know, people don't buy products. They buy ideas. You know, we buy toothpaste. How many people in here can give me a really good explanation of how toothpaste works, like on a chemical level? Or like cite any kind of study, what toothpaste is better than what? No, that's not how we think. Of course, as activists, we buy Tom's of Maine because we make our ethical decisions. So, you know, we'll go further down the road to buy the Tom's of Maine for a little bit more. But we still don't know how toothpaste works, but we buy it because we buy the notion. And why is Crest and Colgate the best-selling toothpaste by far? Because they spend a lot of money on advertising. They're selling you the idea. They're not saying, well, look, if you consider this study, our toothpaste, you know, showed up better than these, and this is how it works. It has nothing to do with the product itself. It has to do with the idea. You know, tradition. You know, my parents used this. I used it as a kid. Heritage, cleanliness, et cetera, et cetera. So we need to start thinking of veganism in these terms. How can we sell it as a product? Not making a logical argument, not making an ethical argument, but how can we put that idea in people's little reptile brains that, yeah, veganism, that's kind of hot. And a lot of times when I bring this up to people, you know, kind of run this off people, by the way, I don't pretend to have answers. You know, I'm not offering solutions. This is just thoughts. You agree with it, you don't agree with it, that's cool. I'm not trying to convince you of anything, I'm trying to get you thinking. If you disagree with me, that's just as good as if you agree with me. I just want you to start turning some of those gears in the head. But a lot of people, when I kind of bounce this off them, have said, oh, like PETA does, you know, with like their I'd Rather Go Naked campaign. You know, you have like a picture, a poster of like, you know, Pamela Anderson's boobs and fur is dead. And like, they're like, oh, like that. And for a while I was like, not like that, but I didn't know why. I couldn't kind of put my finger on it, but it left like a bad taste in my mouth, you know, like that I just woke up kind of taste. I didn't like it, but I couldn't put my finger on why. And I was lucky enough a couple weeks ago to sit down with some people in the advertising industry and run it off them, and they made a really good point. There's no demand being made with that kind of advertising. You could wear fur, walk up. I mean, the kind of payoff, and I know, you know, I'm sure everybody, or just about everybody in this room, doesn't see, you know, seeing Pamela Anderson's boobs as a payoff, but let's just put ourselves in the average person's mindset for a minute and assume it is. That's the payoff, okay? That's the goodness. There's no demand being made. You don't have to do anything to get that. It's just attracting attention. The idea of those ads is just to get your attention. You go, whoa, boobs. Maybe you notice in the corner it says fur is dead, but there's no demand being made on you. You're not being told to do something in order to get the payoff. BMW ads don't just give you status. You need to buy the car to get the status. Okay, it's not free. There's demand being made. You want the status, you got to buy the vehicle. You don't get it for free. That kind of advertising that's just aimed at getting our attention isn't making any kind of demand. So when I talk about selling veganism as a product, I'm not talking about getting attention. I'm talking about selling it, making the demand. If you want to be cool like this guy, you got to be vegan.
That'll work.
I'm trying. Now, a really basic example of how we fail to move veganism as a product, if everyone just take a minute now and think, like, let's say someone just walked up to you and said, hey, I heard you're vegan. I've never heard of that before. What is it? Okay, you've got a totally fresh slate. Whatever you tell this person, that's in their mind what veganism is. They have no clue what you're talking about. It's all up to you. Okay? The future of the world lies in your hands. Think for a second now, just in 2 sentences, how you would define veganism, what words you would use. Just think for a second. Okay. Now, I'm willing to wager a lot of us use the words, and I know I do, can't, won't, or don't. Okay, we define veganism as a negative, and this was actually brought up before as well, which was really cool to see that I'm not the only one who thinks my thoughts. We define veganism as negatives. I can't eat this, I won't eat this, I don't eat this, and that's no way to sell a product. I don't know where we get this conception that that's going to turn anybody onto veganism. Like, I can't eat ice cream? Sign me up. It doesn't work that way. And we can emphasize the positive. We can emphasize that it's a choice. It allows you to be healthier, yada, yada. But as long as we define it as a negative, I can't do this, I won't do this, how do we expect anybody to want to jump on board? So that's the crux of my argument. Think about veganism as a product. Think about how to move it. Think about how the average person really thinks. Keep in mind, they're not us. They don't think the same way we do. Realistically analyze how they look at the world around them and how we can speak their language and talk to them in that way that they're going to understand. And thank you all very much.